Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So today we are going to be making a tutorial on how to cut and sew this Bubu dress with drawstring waistline. So if this is something you are interested in learning, kindly stay tuned to the end of the tutorial. So for this tutorial we are going to be needing just two fabric, this Ankara print and this white Duchess material. So for this Ankara print, I've already folded it into four based on the widest part of my body, which is my hip measurement. So I'm just marking the starting point. The starting point is just to cut off the self-edge and to add any other extra allowance. So after marking the starting point, on that line, that starting point line, I'm going to measure my shoulder measurement. My shoulder measurement is 8.5 inches, but I want to cut it together with the sleeve. So I'm going to add extra 8 inches to it, making 16.5 inches. So after marking that, I'm going to go down by 1.5 inches, which is what we are going to use to form our shoulder slope. So I'll go to my center front and measure 4 inches for my neck width, and I'm just going to connect that to the shoulder slope like so. So after connecting it to the shoulder slope, I'm going to measure my sleeve opening. So the measurement I'm going for my sleeve opening is about 10 inches. So I'm going to measure that 10 inches for my sleeve opening. So after measuring my sleeve opening, I'm going to insert my circumference, like my hip circumference divided by 4. My hip is 48 inches divided by 4, that's 12 inches. So I'll mark 12 inches at that bust point, and I'm going to add extra 3 inches to it because it is a Bubu dress and we don't want it to be tightly fitted. So I'm just going to mark that down straight to the end of the gown. So the drawstring is what we give it the shape that we want. So after marking it, I'm just going to go to that part where the sleeve opening and the side allowance meets. I'm just going to give it a slight curve like so, so that when we sew it together, it's not going to be folding. So on the neckline, I'm going to go down by 2 inches for back neck depth. Then for my front neck depth, I'm going to go down by 7 inches. I initially went down by 6 inches, but I realized that I wanted it to be a little bit deeper, so I added 1 inch to it. So that was when I measured 7 inches. So after measuring all that, I'm going to go ahead and cut it out. So before you cut out the neckline, you have to separate the front panel from the back panel so that you not make the mistake of cutting the same neckline for both the front panel and the back panel. So after cutting out the neckline, then we are going to work on the front panel. You know that there's a design at the front of the front panel. So that's what we want to create now. So at that center front, we are going to measure 1 inch down from that neckline to the end of the dress, and we're going to cut it out. So after cutting it out, we are going to mark the print so that we can know the wrong side for both the front and the back panel. So the next thing is to join the shoulder of both the front and back panel together. So to join the shoulder together, just place both on each other, right side facing each other. So once you place it and the right sides are aligning, you just go ahead and join the shoulders first. So you join the shoulder like this. So after joining the shoulders together, this is what we have. So the next thing we are going to do is to measure the design we are going to use to replace that part we cut off at the front panel. So to measure it, we are going to align the shoulders together, making sure the shoulder of both sides are aligned together. So once we align it, we are going to give the center back a slight notch. Then we are going to measure it down like so to the end of the dress. Guys, when you are measuring, make sure that you are very careful and you are taking your time so you not measure wrongly. So after measuring, I have 52 inches, but to avoid shortage, I'm going to cut out 56 inches. So 56 inches multiplied by 2, that's about 112. So that's what I'm going to go ahead and cut out now on this my white fabric. But because this white fabric is on fold, I'm going to cut 56 inches. So if yours is not on fold, you can cut it like straight. You can cut just 112 at a go. So that is what I'm measuring there. Then once I measure the length, the width I'm going to go for this material is 3 inches. So the 3 inches, I'm going to replace 1 inch on each side. That's 2 inches. Then we are going to join each side together with half inch. That makes the total of 3 inches. So that's why I'm using the width of 3 inches to join this together. So I'll go ahead and cut all this out now. So this is the piece that we have. So the next thing I'm going to do is to pick my Ankara fabric, and I'm going to measure the neckline. When I say neckline, I mean where the neckline started from the back, from the center back straight to where the v-neck, the v shape ended at the center front. So from where my hand is to where my hand stop. So that's what I want to measure now. When I measure whatever I get there, I'll measure it on my I'll measure it on my white material, but I'll make sure that this white material is very aligned so that one side will not be jumping and the other side is just there. So after aligning it, I'm going to measure what I just got now on my fabric on it, and that's I think 14 inches. So once I measure that, I'm going to mark it. So after marking it, I'll now start sewing from below that 14 inches. But when I'm sewing, I'll make sure that my stitches are in the middle of my white print, like so. The way you are seeing me draw this chalk, that is the way the stitches will be down to the end of my fabric. So at the end, I'm going to come up by about 5 inches as well, and I'm going to stop my stitch there. So I'll take it to my machine now and just go and run this stitch. So after running the stitch, this is what we have. So at the end of the day, when I was stitching, that was when I remember that we added extra allowance, so I had to move upward at the end of the fabric. So you now fold it like this. The way I'm folding it, you fold each to each side and give it a very good press. So it was when I was editing this video that I realized that I didn't show you guys where I stitched the white fabric to the Ankara fabric, but I have a video up on the channel where I did that. I'm going to link it in the description box below. So we are going to cut off the excess at the hem of our fabric. So the next thing is to go ahead and fix our white fabric at the sleeve. So for this, I'm not going to cover the hem with white. I'm just going to like extend the sleeve with the white fabric. So I cut out 5 inches breadth of fabric, and the length is the length of my shoulder, the length of my sleeve opening. So I'm going to stitch that for both sleeves, and this is what we have here. So after stitching it, the next thing is to go ahead and join the two sides together. So I'm just going to align the two sides of the front and the back panel together like so, and I'm just going to stitch it down with half an inch straight to the end of the fabric. So after stitching it down, this is what we have. Our fabric is already taking shape. So the next thing is to start marking out where we are going to place the drawstring. The drawstring will be at the waistline. So I'm going to measure my waistline around my fabric, both on the front panel and on the back panel. So after marking my waistline round, I'm going to go ahead and measure what I have as the circumference of this waistline. So whatever I have there is what I'll use to cut out the strip that I'm going to use for my drawstring. And this is the strip here that I've already cut. So the length of this strip is about 56 inches, more than the length of more than the circumference of my waist. Then the width is 1.5 inch, and I folded in half inch on both sides, so we have about half inch for to join on the fabric. So I folded the tip in at one side, and I'm going to pin it down on the line that we just drew now, making sure that the line falls in the middle of the drawstring casing that I'm attaching to it. So I'm going to pin it round. So the moment I finish pinning it round, I will take it to my machine to stitch down. So when I finish pinning it down, I realize that there is excess, but don't cut it off yet. Make sure that you finish stitching it down before you cut it off, so that there will be no shortage. So after pinning that, I'll take it to my machine to stitch. But while stitching, make sure that you don't just place it on your machine like this and stitch. Open it up the way I've opened it up here, and place it on your machine to stitch, so you not make mistake of stitching both your front and the back panel together, all in the name of stitching drawstring. So after sewing down our drawstring casing to it, this is what we have. So the next thing is to insert our drawstring to it. I've already cut out a strip for it as well. The length of this is 60 inches and the breadth is 0.75. Actually, I'm still going to cut off from this drawstring because it's too long for me. But before I insert my drawstring, I want to fix pockets to this outfit. So to fix our pockets, I'm going to measure 2 inches from after that white design at the middle, then 2 inches below my waistline. So this is where the pocket will start from. Then I'm going to mark the same thing at the other side again. So I'll place the 2 pockets on each side of my fabric. So, and I'll take it to my machine and stitch it down. So after fixing my pocket, this is what I have. So the next thing is to insert a drawstring into the drawstring casing. So to do that, you are going to use safety pin and fix the drawstring into the safety pin and insert it into the drawstring casing. So you are going to pull it inside and just pull it out on the other side. So this is what we have after inserting our drawstring into the drawstring casing. So let's see how it's going to look on me. So this is the final outcome of our outfit. Thank you so much for watching the tutorial to the end. I'll see you guys in the next one.